Hello, every pony. Scar89 here once again with another fanfiction reading. And before I start, I would like to say a happy Merry Christmas, a happy Kwanzaa, happy Hanukkah, Chinese New Year, 4th of July. It really doesn't matter. But the important thing is that I say Merry Hearthwarming to everyone. That's right. Today I'll be reading a very special heartwarming tale for all you little fillies and colts out there. So, uh, turn down the lights, put on a fire, get some hot chocolate and a few little cookies, and let's begin. A Heartwarming Carol by Pony Toast. It was a lovely winter day in the small town of Ponyville. The sky was full of streams of fluffy white clouds, partially obscuring the sun and covering the ground in hazy, fading sunshine. The ground was full of fresh fallen snow. The Pegasi had overdone it just a little, and what was meant to be a few inches had turned into a full foot of snow. As such, most of the shops in Ponyville had closed for the day. The birds had long since gone south for the winter. The air was cool and crisp, and ponies spent their little daylight free time making snow mares in the fields and sledding down hills. A few ponies did not share in the play, however, and instead spent the entire day relaxing. Among them was Rainbow Dash, perched lazily across a patch of floating cloud, half asleep and basking in the sun glaring down upon her. She absently listened to the noise below her. Suddenly, a voice cut through the chilly air. "Hey, Rainbow Dash!" Dash turned over and hung her head over the edge of the cloud to see a young purple-haired Pegasus filly wrapped in a warm scarf and saddle. "Hey, Squirt, what you need?" Rainbow yawned. "Nothing." She looked around innocently and then, "Think fast!" A previously concealed snowball sailed upward and exploded on Rainbow Dash's face before she could react. Sputtering, she shook the snow from her mane and grinned. "Oh, you want to do this? Let's do this!" She gathered a ball of cloud in her hoof and chucked it down toward the Pegasus. The cloud hit her and sent her back into a snowdrift. Scoots giggled before gathering up more snow and batting it upward with her tiny wings. Back and forth they went, Cloudsdale and snowballs, until Dash realized the patch of cloud she sat on was slowly shrinking. Grinning in victory, she kicked the whole remaining cloud downward and sped off to the next cloud. It floated as if in slow motion, sailing past Scootaloo towards some other ponies nearby. They ducked out of the way, all at least, except sorry. "Ah!" Rarity shouted as the cloud knocked her over fully and scattered whatever it was she was carrying. She shook herself up, dripping with snow and looking wildly around for the source of the distress. "Rainbow Dash!" she shouted. Dash landed next to her. "Sorry, Rarity. I guess I got carried away a bit. If you offer a rain blow dry, I will personally lock you in a box for a week," Rarity snapped as she gathered up her dropped items. Rainbow looked at one of them, sitting on the ground near her. "What are these? They're just balls of yarn." "Just balls of yarn? Just balls of yarn? They were balls of cashmere. But now they're all wet, which means—" Tears welled up in her eyes and her voice squeaked. "They're going to shrink. This is 100 bits worth of yarn. Ruined. All ruined." "Oh, Rainbow laughed nervously. "I didn't mean to." "I don't care," Rarity shrieked. "You just ruined everything. You ruined absolutely everything." Rainbow backed away. I'm sorry. Let me—" "No!" Rarity squeaked. "You've done enough already. Just leave me alone." Dash's face fell, and she flew off. Dash landed near the Sweet Apple Acres barn, stirring up the soft, fluffy snow on the ground. "Hey, Applejack!" Dash called out, knocking on the barn door. There was some shuffling inside, and then the door opened. "Hey, Dash!" Applejack said, gesturing the Pegasus inside. "Good, you're right on time." "Yep." She did a double take. "On time for what?" Applejack stopped. "You promised to help me move the rest of the jugs of apple cider inside, remember? The ones from last week's festival?" Rainbow scratched her mane. Uh, I. Applejack raised an eyebrow. You forgot, didn't you? Dash smiled. Forgot? Are you kidding? Of course not, she lied. Well, in that case, let's get started. They headed outside to find a large stack of cider jugs waiting to be moved inside. Applejack began to load up some of the jugs onto a cart. Dash just stared. Come on, AJ, there's gotta be a faster way. I don't care about getting it done fast. I just don't wanna break any of these jugs. She tapped one of the glass jugs with a hoof. Sure, but seriously? A cart? She grabbed two jugs and sped them inside before returning. See, I can get this done way faster than you. Rainbow, this isn't a competition, Applejack said, frowning. Says you. Dash grabbed two more jugs and flew them inside. No, Dash! Come on, Slowpoke! Two more jugs disappeared inside. Dash, slow down! Those are... Stop whining just 'cause you're losing, AJ, Dash called out. No, you're gonna... Crash! Applejack ran inside, finding Rainbow Dash on the floor. Broken jugs lay everywhere, with sweet apple cider spilling across the barn floor. Rainbow Dash shook her head. Whoa! I think I clipped one of the jugs with my wings. Ah! Applejack scowled at her. I told you not to do that! If there was an easier way to move these jugs, don't you think I would have done it that way? Rainbow swallowed hard. But you just didn't listen to me, and now I've got to clean up this mess up all by myself, and we've lost at least 10 gallons of cider. No, Dash. You go on now. I'll take care of all this without your help. She turned and went to the wall to get a mop. Dash got to her feet and walked to the door. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sure you are. Dash landed in the middle of Ponyville. Ponies darted here and there to any of the few open shops. Ponies darted here and there to any of the few open shops to do some last-minute hearth-warming shopping. It suddenly occurred to Dash, tonight was Hearth-warming Eve. Twilight's party was tonight at 7. At least that was guaranteed to be. At least that was guaranteed to be a fun time. Dashy! A pink pony bounced up out of the snowdrift, crashing into Rainbow Dash and sending her flat on her path. Ow! Pinkie Pie! Sorry, Dashy. I'm just so excited because it's Hearthwarming Eve, and I'm so excited because it only comes once a year. Come on, get off me. Pinkie didn't budge. And I saw you, and I thought you kind of looked sort of sad, and I wanted you to be excited like I was. So, Pinkie Pie, come on, get off of me. I hid in the snowdrift so I could surprise you and make you smell. Pinkie Pie! Shut up! Rainbow threw Pinkie off and got up. Seriously, just shut up! I'm already having a bad day, and you're... Tears welled up in Pinkie's eyes, and she suddenly ran off through the snow-covered streets. Not helping, Rainbow sighed. Ugh. Way to go, Dash. You're 3 for 3. Dash flew up high to her sky home, landing softly near the door. She went inside and dropped onto her couch. She sighed. In an hour, she had successfully made 3 of her best friends upset. This was already turning out to be a pretty bad day. Knock, knock. Rainbow sat up and looked at the door. Rarely any pony ever came to visit her. Who could it be? She threw her mane back, setting it messily into place, and opened the door. Fluttershy? The yellow Pegasus stood there, a sad look on her face. Fluttershy almost never came up to Cloudsdale, greatly preferring to stay close to the ground. It must be important. Rainbow, how could you? Fluttershy said softly. How could I... What? Fluttershy looked down. I asked you to check on the animals for me while I was visiting my sister in Canterlot this week. Rainbow gasped. Oh no! I completely forgot! I'm so sorry! Are they okay? Yes, they're okay. It's lucky I came back early. Oh, well, that's good then, Rainbow trailed off. The point is, Rainbow, Fluttershy looked up at Dash with sad puppy dog eyes. I trusted you and you let me down. She turned on her hoof and glided down off the edge of the cloud. Dash closed the door slowly and threw herself onto the couch, tears in her eyes. This was not a good day. She woke several hours later, rubbing sleep from her eyes. She glanced at the clock. It was almost 8 o'clock. Wait! 8 o'clock! No, 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 no. Twilight's party was at 7. She was late. Darn it. Just when it seemed things couldn't get any worse. Twilight was sure to be mad. Rainbow, Twilight would say, I can't believe you were late. I could never be friends with a pony who's late. And I can't be friends with a pony who breaks a promise, Fluttershy would add. And I can't be friends with a pony who yells at her friends, Pinkie would grumble. Or cuts corners, Applejack would interject. Or is oblivious to her own friends' concerns, Rarity would say. I think it's pretty clear, Rainbow, Twilight would say, pushing Dash out of the door with her magic, that you're a terrible friend. You're not welcome here any more. A big tear dripped down Rainbow Dash's face as she stepped outside and plopped down in the snowy cloud. All of her friends would reject her, all because she was a horrible friend. She sighed. I wish I'd never been born. A bright light suddenly appeared, surprising Rainbow and sending her reeling back towards the door. She rubbed her eyes a bit and looked. There, in front of her, was a large being, Princess Celestia. Her hooves lightly touched down on the cloud. Hello, Rainbow Dash, she said simply. Princess, what are you doing here? I'm here to see you, Rainbow Dash. I heard your wish. I understand how you feel. I want to help you. Well, I'm pretty much beyond help. I've ruined every pony's day all at once. Have you now? She giggled. And you think Equestria would be better off without you? Is that it? Yeah. She crossed her forehooves, and laid down on the cloud, looking away. I think you're wrong. And I could prove it to you. Rainbow looked up. What do you mean? The princess moved closer and lowered her horn to Rainbow Dash's head. It began to glow, and the world was consumed by a blinding light. It suddenly became very dark. Hey! Dash said, rubbing her eyes as they adjusted to the darkness. Dash looked around, but could see nothing. Where are we? She asked the princess, who did not reply. Slowly, the interior of the Carousel Boutique came into hazy view. It was different, however. It was not full of costumes and dresses as usual, but instead was full of jewelry. Tables and countertops everywhere bore shiny pieces on display. From a back room, a mare appeared. Rainbow immediately recognized her white coat and purple mane. Rarity! She called, but the mare made not the slightest hint of noticing her. She can't see or hear you, Rainbow Dash, the princess explained. Rarity looked over the jewels carefully with the light, dreamily smiling. I don't understand, Rainbow Dash said, looking up at her companion. Rarity is a jeweler? How is that? Crash. Rainbow looked back to Rarity and saw that she had smashed one of the cases filled with diamond jewelry and began to magic them out. Is that a term, magic them? And began to magic them out of the case and into a saddlebag Dash had not noticed before. Well, Wah-ha-ha-ha! Rarity said, smashing another case and emptying its contents as well. Rainbow's eyes widened. Wait, she's not a jeweler. She's a thief! Some pony called as the door of the boutique swung open. 2 city guards came in, shining small flashlights on Rarity. Rarity was not to be deterred, however, and in a single motion delivered a sharp kung fu kick to one of them. She bucked the other one across the face with her back hooves and sprinted out of the boutique. What's going on? Rainbow asked her alicorn companion. Why is she a thief? How did your sonic rainboom, as you had already learned, helped your friends learn their special talents? But talents, as it turns out, are not always what they are first made out to be. In Rarity's case, she was never able to apply her love of jewelry to her love of making clothes until after her family's boutique had gone out of business. When she finally did discover it, it manifested into a form of greed. But her element is of harmony is generosity. In a world with you, perhaps, but not here. Come along, Rainbow. Come along, Rainbow Dash. I've got much to show you. Away they flew, far outside the borders of Ponyville. They headed across to the other side of the mountains, to a large, sprawling city. Tall buildings crafted a beautiful skyline in the darkness, lit with dots of candles and many windows. Manhattan, the princess said simply, as they dove toward a window high up at the top of one of the skyscrapers. They flew in an open window and landed on a fine tile floor. The office surrounding them was clean and simple and very large. A huge oak desk adorned with excessive toys sat on the right, with a soft-looking couch on the left. Seated on that couch in a sharp gray suit was an amazingly well-styled man. Was none other than Applejack, Rainbow said, forgetting for a moment that her friend could neither see nor hear her. She watched, amazed, as Applejack got up from the couch and sauntered daintily over to the desk and pushed a button. "Send in my next appointment," she said, with not a single hint of a southern accent, and sat down behind the desk. The door opened, and two more familiar ponies entered, Big Macintosh and Apple Bloom. Her siblings took a seat in the chairs opposite Applejack. "Macintosh, Apple Bloom." A long silence fell upon the room. Finally, Applejack spoke again. "You understand why I've asked you here?" "Yup." Macintosh gave Applejack a look of complete contempt. "So, when will I be expecting payment?" "Soon." "But Applejack," Apple Bloom said, "Nightmare Moon took away the sun. With no sunshine, the apple trees are all dead. There's no way we can—" "Do I look like I care about your country's problems? So the trees won't grow. So cut them down and make picnic tables for all I care. But the Apple family owes me, and it will pay up." That's right. "But Applejack, you're our sister." "You understand," Applejack said coolly, "that if I gave family members preferential treatment when they default on loans, what kind of precedent it would set?" I have no idea what that is. That's all money jargon that I don't quite understand yet. Big tears welled up in Apple Bloom's eyes. "You wouldn't let us. You can't." Applejack retrieved a piece of paper from a drawer. "Your other option, of course," she said, "is to sign over the whole farm to me. I'll make some use of it, I can assure you." Apple Bloom looked at the paper and then to Big Mac. "But what does that mean to us? Will we have to leave?" Applejack smiled slightly. "Of course." But, Hugh, where would we go? Why would you do this to us? I mean, this is Hearthwarming Eve." Applejack took out a pen. "Right, and that makes so much difference to me. Now, sign or face the consequences." Big Mac slowly picked up the pen with his mouth and scrawled a name across the bottom. He heaved a great broken sigh and stood, shaking. He looked at Applejack straight in the eye. "I hope you're happy where you are, AJ," he drawled. "Wherever that is." He nodded to the sobbing Apple Bloom, and the two left the room. Applejack coldly took the paper and put it away, as though she didn't have a care in the world. "I don't understand," Dash said to her companion. "Your sonic rainbow reminded Applejack of her strong ties to her families, and made her realize that Sweet Apple Acres is the place she was meant to be. Without that, she remained at the residence of her aunt and Uncle Orange, who taught her about business. Applejack's stubbornness was then applied to the world of corporate politics. She succeeded greatly, and she looks very happy, don't you think?" Dash looked at the orange mare. "No, she looks cold and empty." The princess nodded. "Time to go." Dash was very quiet on the way back to Ponyville. "Is there something wrong, Rainbow Dash?" the princess asked. "I don't know," Dash said. "I never realized how much I affect my friends' lives. But I still think they'd be better off without me." They landed in Ponyville Square. Most of the shops, as before, were closed, save for a single cart on the far end of the square. There, a sales pony was trying to make some last-minute bit before closing time. "Come and get 'em, so many uses." Rainbow Dash swallowed hard, looked at the princess, and approached. Pinkie Pie sat, shivering in the cold, her hair falling in straight locks around her face. She wore a very thin sheet, barely hiding the bitter wind back. Her cart was full of rocks of all shapes and sizes. Polished rocks, sharp rocks, dull rocks, rocks of every color, she called out to passers-by. None of them stopped. You see, Rainbow Dash, the princess said, walking up beside the Pegasus. Without your sonic rainbow, Pinkamena Diana Pie never learned the value of a smile, and never took the leap of faith required to bring smiles to others. She never learned about the power of laughter, and now, here she sits, selling rocks in the cold. Rainbow Dash bowed her head and turned away from her shivering friend, wishing she could help. But alas, she could not. The two winged ponies flew out far from Ponyville, out to a small cottage at the base of the mountains. There they entered through the back door to a very small and quaint kitchen. Seated at the kitchen table was none other than Twilight Sparkle. Her hair was different, shorter. Despite the lateness of the evening, she still sat up, reading. Absently, she made some tea with her magic, and she read. Or as she read. Twilight, Dash said. What's she doing here? Without the aid of your sonic rainbow, Twilight failed the entrance exam into my school for gifted unicorns. In her shame, she fled Canterlot and set up her home here, far away from every pony else, and became absorbed in magic and nothing else. However, without the guiding hoof of Princess Celestia, she never made any friends, and thus never truly understood the power of magic. So in the end, Dash added, she ends up alone. She turned away from Twilight sadly, just like every pony else. There was a long silence in the stillness of Twilight's cramped kitchen as Dash reflected. Then, with her eyes watery, she looked up. There was still hope that one of her friends would have turned out okay. What would happen to Fluttershy? Dash asked the princess. The princess raised an eyebrow. Are you sure you want to know? Rainbow Dash nodded. It had begun to snow. Rainbow and the princess walked toward the edge of the everfree forest, leaving soft hoof prints in the fallen whiteness. They approached an evergreen tree that had been planted just off the path. Dash laughed. So without my help, Fluttershy became a tree? Bah! The princess gave her a dark look. Look closer. Dash approached the tree and noticed a mound at the base, buried in the snow. She looked back at the princess as though looking for instruction. The princess gave a nod. Slowly, shaking with trepidation, Rainbow Dash moved aside the snow to reveal a white marble slab that simply read, Here lies Fluttershy, beloved filly, lost so young. Tears streamed down Rainbow Dash's face as she rounded on the princess. How did this happen? How did I change this? The princess spoke softly. Without you, there was no race at summer flight camp, but Fluttershy was still a very weak flyer. It was an accident, of course, no pony's fault. But when she fell this time, there were no butterflies to save her. Rainbow Dash's legs felt wobbly, and they crumpled beneath her. Never in her wildest dreams did she think that she had had such a profound effect on her friends' lives. Without her, all of her friends had been left without knowing their true talent. Worse, each and every one of them had ended up alone. So, what do you say, Rainbow Dash? The princess asked. Do you still wish you had never been born? Rainbow Dash wiped the tears from her eyes. No, I want to go back, please! The princess smiled. I thought you might say that. Just like that, they both stood at the doorstep of Rainbow Dash's residence. Rainbow Dash shivered, but it was less from the cold than it was from the chill of her experience. The princess smiled warmly. I hope you remember the things you've learned tonight, Rainbow Dash. I'm going to leave you now. Good luck. She spread her wings to take flight. Wait! Rainbow said, throwing her arms around the princess. I don't know how to thank you for all this. The princess returned the hug before letting Dash out of the warm, friendly embrace. No thanks necessary. Have a happy heart's warming with your friends. And in a flash of light, she was gone. Knock, knock, knock. The doors of Twilight's library's home swung open, casting a bright, warm glow on the snow outside and illuminating a visibly cold Rainbow Dash. Twilight was there, giving her a quizzical look. Hi, Rainbow Dash. I was wondering where you'd gotten off to. I'm sorry I'm late. Twilight, I really didn't mean it. I sort of overslept, and I really didn't... Come on in. Rainbow, or else you'll catch a cold. Rainbow came in. Fluttershy and Rarity were in a corner singing heartwarming carols. Applejack was playing some party games with Pinky. The pets were all stretched by the fireplace. Hi, every pony! Hey, every pony! Rainbow's here! Twilight said. They looked. They all looked over and ran over to greet her friend. Rainbow, darling, how could you leave the house without a scarf? Rarity asked, throwing one around Rainbow's neck. Glad she can make it, Applejack added. The party would have been no fun without you, Pinky said, bouncing up and down. Have some cocoa, Fluttershy offered. Rainbow looked sheepishly down. I'm sorry I made you guys so upset today, Rainbow said, tears welling up in her eyes. I guess I sort of took all you for granted there, and I shouldn't have. Can you ever forgive me? Forgive you? Twilight asked. You're our friend. Of course we forgive you, Rarity offered. It's just you being the way you are, Applejack said. You are having a bad day, I'm sure, Pinky giggled. We still love you, Fluttershy said softly. Rainbow Dash wiped the tears from her eyes and she looked around at all of her friends. I guess when you're such a big part of your friends' lives, it takes more than a bad day to keep them mad at you. Sometimes it takes looking past a friend's fault and forgiving them that makes them a real friend. Twilight's eyes lit up. You should write that to the princess, she squeaked. I've got a feeling, Dash said. She already knows. That was one of the best stories I have ever read. That was awesome. Yeah. So, well, I was so sad with Fluttershy. Fluttershy. It's weird because that's totally possible too, according to Time Me Why Me stuff. Anyway, thank you for watching this very special Christmas heartwarming special story. I hope you all have a wonderful Christmas. Um, excuse me. Let's see. Go check out Doom Pie and go check out Brony Fanfics. Good friends of mine. Very awesome. Like, subscribe to them if you haven't and you don't know them. Be sure to like, subscribe to me. That would make me happy. I need subscribers and stuff, and I'm gonna do a very special reading when I get to a certain amount of subscribers. So go ahead and do that. What other thing? I'm just kind of trying to waste time for no reason. Yeah, oh yeah, I've been doing readings of Crisis Equestria over on Brony Fanfic's channel because he's been pretty busy lately with school and stuff, and I have more free time-ish than him and stuff. So I've taken over the Crisis Equestria reading on his channel. Go check it out. You may just pee your pants. But with that, I guess I will see you guys later. And instead of saying Brony on today, I'm going to say Merry Christmas and have a great heartwarming.